Hi, my name is Andrea. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet, turn it over to my sponsor, and I don't eat in between my meals no matter what, unless it's what is permitted. Um, and abstinence in my relationship with God is what's most important with me today. Um, Thank you, Stephanie, for asking me. I forgot all about it, forgot to put it on my calendar, and I just happened to be on social media last night and and saw where she had sent me a message, and I was like, oh, uh, I will be here. I will be here. And it's a rainy day here in Glen Burnie, Maryland. I tell you, kind of a dreary day, one of those days where I wanted to go back to sleep, but I had to get up. I'm a member of another fellowship, and I got up to hear a lady celebrate 31 years in that fellowship. So anyway, I was first introduced to Gray Sheet back in 2010, and I was living in. Well, let me tell you some statistics. I was born in Akron, Ohio. After I graduated from high school, I moved to Columbus, Ohio, and then back in 2011, my job moved me here to Maryland, and so I was introduced to let me go back even further. Say that I've always had a food problem, or weight problem, always bigger than most kids, and you know, I remember at the age of 5 or 6, coming home, and it was just me and my mom, and my mom would feed me cold stuff, and you know one day, I just got tired of the cold stuff, and I just said, I already ate, at my grandparents' house. And then I started eating at my grandparents' house because my grandmother would fix some delicious meals. So I would eat there. And then it never failed that whenever I would eat at my grandparents' house, my mother would cook something good, some hot food. And I was like, wow. So one day I had ate at my grandmother's house, and then I came home and I told my mother that I didn't eat, and she cooked a hot meal. And the next day, I remember walking into my grandparents' house, and my mother and my grandmother were sitting at the dining room table, and they were both talking about these wonderful meals they had made the day before. And my mom said, yeah, the meal was so good that mid asked for seconds. And my grandmother said, what? You know, she ate over here yesterday. And she said, my mom said, no, she told me she didn't eat. And she had a meal over. And and they called me into the dining room. And I was like, oh gosh, the gig is up. And I went into the dining room, and they questioned me, and from then on it became a trust issue with my mother. She would always ask me, did you eat at your grandmother's house? And I said, if I said no, even if I say yes or no, if I said no, she would verify it. She would call and verify. If I say yes, she wouldn't verify. Um so yeah, that happened. I was eating 2 meals. I was eating 2 meals for a long time, until it was found out. Um, I don't know. Back in when I was at the age of 13, my grandmother died, and after my grandmother died, I was weighing about 153. And the next year, when my grandfather died, I was weighing in at 194, something like that. I gained like over 40 pounds because I ate my grief. Fast forward, always trying different diets and stuff. I've been on Weight Watchers. I've been on Cambridge diet where I drink my meal. I've been on Slim Fast. I've been Nutrisystem. I've been to LA Weight Loss. I've been the Mayo diet, the Cleveland Clinic diet, all of those. And, you know, some of those will work for a little bit, but they never lasted, you know, because I never lasted. I would lose about 25 to 45 pounds. And then, you know, it wasn't moving fast enough for me. So I would go back to doing what I was normally doing. 2010, a young lady moved to Columbus, Ohio, and couldn't, you know, she would always leave the meetings to get home by 9 o'clock to go to another meeting on the phone. And you know, when she came over to my house for my anniversary, I couldn't figure out why she didn't want any of this food and why she didn't want any of the desserts. It's like, no, I already ate, or so I was like, okay, weird, but okay. And so one day she told me about what she was doing. I think I asked her, you know, what is this meeting that you're going to or whatever? And she told me about it. And she invited me over to her house with her friend, and cooked dinner and had a gray sheet meal. And she fixed my plate for me. She weighed and measured my food and sat it in front of me, and I started eating. And some of the stuff one of the things I had never heard of before. But it was good. And, you know, I later substituted for a food that we can't eat. And I was eating the food, and I got stuffed. And I said, I can't eat anymore. She's like, no, you have to eat all of it. And I'm like thinking, who are you? You're not my mother, you know? Uh, and I said, no, I can't. I can't eat another bite. I'll just have it for leftovers tomorrow. And then she introduced me to listening to meetings and stuff. And I listened to everybody share their experience, strength, and hope. And there came a time when I could really relate to this one lady. And I called her, and I said, I'm at this in between state. You know, I feel like I'm on a bridge where, you know, I just can't cross over to the other side. I keep going backwards. And and she's like, oh, I felt like that before, you know. And she talked to me, and I was like, well, can you be my sponsor? And she said, I can't be your sponsor, but I have other women that I sponsor, and I'll talk to them and I will get you a sponsor. And I said, okay. So we got off the phone, and then she called me back. She's like, oh, Andrea, I forgot to ask you, do you want to commit your next meal to me? And I was like, you know, I felt a ray of hope, you know, and I said, yeah, sure. And I committed my dinner to her. And the next day, a lady called me to be my sponsor, and so that started the journey a little bit. But there came a time when a lot of things were going on. My uncle had died. I was in the process of moving to Maryland and everything, and I just couldn't deal. And so I ended up relapsing, had a lot of day ones. And I moved here to Maryland, and December 31st, 2011, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Called that sponsor up, and I said, hey, I want to do this again. And she said, why don't you come up to our meeting in Pennsylvania? And I said, I don't know. I'll think about it, you know. And she said, I committed my food, and the next morning I got up early, and I called her and I said, hey, guess what I'm doing? And she said, what? I said, I'm in the car. I'm getting ready to head to Pennsylvania. And she said, good. And so I got up there, and I went to what was my grand sponsor's house, and they had a meeting there. They would have a meeting there once a month, and they would go over the steps, you know. January was the first step, you know.
That's
February.
5 minutes left.
woo-wee, I better speed it up. Okay. So, on and on and on. And I really was, that was 2012, January 1st, 2012 was my first another abstinent day. And I did that for like a year. I would go up to Pennsylvania on the weekends and it would be like my retreat. It was so nice, to be around other GreySheeters and everything. And they like took me under their wings that first month, that first day. They weighed and measured my food for me. They showed me different foods that we can eat. They showed me how to prepare different foods and everything. And it was nice. I stayed abstinent for like a year and a half. I lost about 90 pounds. June 2013, my mom died. And the day we put her in the ground was the day that I relapsed again because I couldn't deal with the pain. And from June 2013 to November 7th, 2021, I had a series of day ones, like 8 years of day ones and stuff, where I would try GreySheet and then I wouldn't. I'd say, it's too strict. I can't do this. It's just so, they're so rigid, so hard, blah, blah, blah. And I've tried FAA, I've tried all of that. You think GreySheet is strict. Whoo, try one of those. And I've been to Overeaters Anonymous, been to a lot of. So anyway, November the 7th, November the 6th, I was talking to a friend in New York, and she was saying everything that I was feeling, that I was thinking, and she was talking about the disease of food addiction and the how it affects the mind and the basically she was saying to me the doctor's opinion in the AA book. And I was like, can you be my sponsor? She's like, no, I don't have 90 days yet. I have 90 days after Thanksgiving. So I was like, I knew I couldn't wait till Thanksgiving to start. And so that day, I called one of my old sponsors, and November 7th of 2021 is hopefully my last abstinent date. I tell you, it gets hard sometimes in my mind, Like yesterday, I called a friend and she was saying she was at some restaurant with another friend. And I started looking the restaurant up and looking at the menu, and I'm like, I started having chest pains, looking at that food that we don't eat. And I'm like, thinking in my mind, oh, I want this stuff. I want this. And right now I'm wearing a ECG machine on my chest, and so I have to report when stuff goes on. And I wrote in the book, that I'm having this chest pain. I said, and it asked, what were you doing during this time? And I said, looking at a food menu, thinking about going off the meal plan that has allowed me to lose 150 pounds since November 7th, 2021. And when I wrote it down, it was like, okay, no, I don't want that food. I don't want, and I remember another friend is struggling, and she said something about her weight at a doctor's office. And I said, don't even think about it, because just let the little scale take care of the big scale, you know. And I said, I came here for the vanity. I said, but what makes me stay is the sanity and the clarity between these two ears, because I know that if I was to go back out into this food, it's just insane. I won't be able to do my job. I won't be able to do chores around the house. I won't be able to do a lot of things that GreySheet has allowed me to do almost what it's been 2.5 years, I guess.
That's time.
and that's time. So I hope that you all got something out of it. And thank you for allowing me to share. And I'll leave my name and number in the chat. Thanks.